G'day friends, welcome to today's YouTube video. My name is James, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. Steve is here today.
Hi everybody.
And today I'm doing a stream of consciousness journaling session with you. And so this is gonna be 20 minutes. Grab your cup of tea, grab your full strength Coke, do whatever you need to do. And yeah, we'll just be chatting about stories.
Okay.
So today...
Today what?
Stream of consciousness.
Okay.
You haven't done any of these videos. You haven't been around for a while.
Well, I mean, I've been around, but just not all.
It's been gone. Where have you been? Steve has not been on YouTube videos, I don't think, for a while.
No.
But we did just film one. So now I don't know when you're going to see this, but he's probably been up since this video is going. Okay, whatever. The stream of consciousness is basically just a page where I'm mapping out everything that's going on in my brain. It doesn't all have to be good or make any sense. It's just kind of brain dump onto the page that is visual. It's all like drawing and illustrating, and there's some words and phrases and whatever. Today I had a very nostalgic trip down memory lane with Japan for some reason. So this is great because this is where you and I met.
Yes, that's like every week though.
Wow. No, that's not untrue. I am constantly reliving fantasy Japanese memories, but and even one of them in here actually I ended up drawing my bicycle. You know that story, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not the one I tell all the time, is it? I don't know if you've heard this story, but Steve's definitely heard it a billion times. I had one of the most magical, like, heaven on earth experiences in Japan once that was so random and so out of nowhere. I was on my bike on my first contract riding to work, and I was just so overwhelmed with the joy of being there, and like my dream had come true. It's what I wanted to do for so long, and it was just so overwhelming, all the feelings, that I just stopped on the sidewalk and like looked up to the sky and was just breathing with a massive smile on my face. And I thought, is this normal? Like, am I crazy?
I love the movie moment that you're having.
No, it was a total movie moment. It was almost shocking because I was like, oh, will I ever feel this happy again? Like, this was a bit too much. It was a feeling of total elation. It was I know it, yeah.
Euphoric. I love that.
And it was just a random moment in the day, but I was on my bicycle. So I'm terrible at drawing bicycles. You'll see it pop up in the top right-hand corner at some point. But yeah, I guess we'll kick it off with that memory. Steve and I are married, and we did meet in Tokyo Disney Resort. We were both working there.
Correct.
Steve was singing and I was dancing.
Yep.
It was back in 2009.
It's crazy. It's been that long.
How long is that?
12 years?
12 years?
No. 11?
Steve's terrible at math, and I'm just going along with
2009, 10. So, yeah, 12 years.
Is it?
Yeah. 2009 to 2019 is 10 years, right?
2009 to 21.
Yes, and then to 20, that's 11. 21 is 12, correct?
I have no idea.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Excuse me. Yeah.
12 years. That's a whole child.
That is a whole child. That's a preteen.
That's a preteen. So if you have preteens, that's how long Steve and I have known each other for. Yeah, we met there. I regard it as one of like my most incredible experiences. I loved it.
It's incredible. It's great. We were talking about it the other day, actually, weren't we?
Yeah, we were talking about different periods of life and the lifestyle we had.
Yeah.
And because I didn't know if maybe I've just lived such a weird existence, like dancing on cruise ships, living in Japan, living in Australia, living in the States. I feel like I've got all these different sections of life.
Pockets of life.
Yeah, and because they were so different, the lifestyle was really different. So I feel like I've lived like 16 different lives. And I was just picking apart facets of one that didn't show up in the other.
Right.
So like even just the idea that on cruise ships all my meals were prepared for me, that's not something that's ever going to happen in this current version of life that I'm in. Although I'm trying to make it happen.
Hold on. Really?
No, all of them, and they all have to be prepared, and they're all a selection. You don't offer me that.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not offering me that.
And breakfast today?
I never used to eat breakfast on the ships. I took it for granted that it was there. No, but so those facets of life.
Sure.
Japan, the things about Japan that I like obviously loved, but won't show up is the fact that I didn't have to pay rent because the accommodation was provided, and I also didn't have to pay any bills because utilities were provided as well.
Everything, and we also got a per diem, so
yeah,
for anything.
So it was literally
that was the life.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, how do we make that happen again? So there are these really specific circumstances that I actually don't think many people experience, and I don't know if it's normal for me to have so many different types of lifestyles I've led.
Well, it's just part of your blessing, right? It's all part of your story. Everyone's story is different.
Yeah.
You know, some people are born in, well, you, I guess, you're born in a different country and then you live in a different one.
And that's weird.
Yeah.
That's different.
Sure.
It's nice. It's unusual. We were talking about that, just kind of comparing, contrasting. We do have a Japanese supermarket that kind of gives me all the nostalgic feelings.
Yeah. Mitsuwa Marketplace.
Mitsuwa Marketplace. It's really nice to go there and have
It is
Japanese
it is
cuisine.
like somewhat of an attachment to Japan.
The supermarket looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
It just has English stuff everywhere.
I know, I remember.
It's really weird, actually.
So I remember we lived about a block away from the grocery store in Japan. And, of course, everything is in Japanese. You start to learn, and like, I didn't know a lick of Japanese when I went over there. And you start to see what certain Japanese characters are, and you start to kind of piece it together. And I really wanted ice cream. Now, okay, one thing about me, I love ice cream. I will always eat it, no matter what. Correct?
And eats it at a rate where, like, honestly, I don't know how his whole brain doesn't freeze off. He is an ice cream vacuum.
I will eat an entire carton in one setting if I can.
Competitive ice cream eater with no competition.
Truly, and I will. Put me in that competition, please, because I will win. There's no end to me when it comes to ice cream.
He loves it.
So, and it has to be at a certain. James he'll eat ice cream when it's frozen.
Yeah,
it has to be like rock hard frozen. He loves that. That is a waste of ice cream to me. So I either have to nuke it for about 10 seconds or 15 seconds, or let it sit out for a while. So it's just
the whole Steve Lamona's ice cream experience is just not my fantasy.
It's like solid and soupy at the same time. I love it.
Works for you.
It's my favorite. It just melts in my mouth.
I hate that.
So I'm at the Edo, which is our grocery store, our market, and I needed some ice cream. And I looked at some, and I was like, they have there's like cookies and cream, right? And right next to it was like, oh, that looks like chocolate cookies and cream. I'm totally gonna get that.
I was
so excited. But everything's in Japanese characters, so you don't know what it is, right? But it looked exactly what I thought it was gonna be. And I go home, I go up to my room, and I'm like, put on my internet or put on my TV, whatever I'm watching at the time, and I open it up, and I cannot wait for it. And I, put the ice cream in my mouth, and I was about to puke. I was like. I had no idea what I had just eaten. It was like salty and pasty and frozen paste. And I was like, what is this? It was like, it's like sweet bean, like bean curd.
Like a Zuki bean paste.
Yeah, the bean paste.
Or like fermented beans.
Fermented bean paste ice cream that happened to look like chocolate chip. Or chocolate cookies and cream.
Did you get the black ice cream, the sesame ice cream?
No.
I was surprised at how salty it was.
Yeah, no. I was so mad, and I ended up just tossing. Actually, you know what? I didn't throw it away. I left it in my freezer because I was too lazy to throw it away, and it just sat there for months.
That's disgusting.
It's disgusting. And then I think a friend of mine was like, oh, I really like that ice cream. I was like, you can have mine. So eventually they got some very old.
My story was, I actually studied Japanese in school, so I should have known because I could read it.
Right.
And I was just being lazy, and I picked up detergent, or what I thought was detergent. And for months I was just, because everything in Japan, you have to understand, we were told, and this was before we got all of our, we didn't even do social media. There's no Instagram when we went there.
I mean, there's Facebook.
There's Facebook, but it was more just to keep in touch with your mum. And then, so I was there, and I just didn't read. I was being complacent, and I just thought...
the bottle looks like detergent.
Well, everyone there just said, don't think of anything here as worse, because there was apparently a lot of, in our information packet when we got our jobs, and we got the contract offers, they would say, a good way to approach this is that, this is the East, and you were raised in the West, and when East meets West, don't think of everything as worse or better, just think of it as different. So I just really embraced that because I was like, well, I want to enjoy everything that there is to offer here. So I'm just going to think of it as different. And it works for things like, work ethic. It is very different in Japan than you would get here.
Sure.
There's no unions. There's no excuses for tardiness. There's all those types of things. But I had applied that to obviously everything. And so I was like, well, the washing machines here just are different. And the detergent here is just different. So my clothes just feel different. They were soft, but I just feel like they were never clean. Fabric softener. For months. months, I had just been softening my clothes instead of washing them. They didn't stink, but I was honestly just upset because I was like, I miss the feeling of fresh clothes. And I didn't know anyone else was experiencing that, because if I'm going to go to work and be like, do your clothes feel fresh?
Yeah.
Like, and I bought a lot of clothes there as well, so let's just say I didn't rewear too many things too many times, but...
Oh my gosh, your jeans turned into, like, jogging suit pants.
In my first contract, I was wild about the fashion. I was like, this is Harajuku, right? I can do whatever I want. I wore balloon pants. I had harem pants with trench coats, polka dotted jackets. Like, I used to wear a summer suit to work, a linen summer suit. There was shorts and, like, shorts.
To go dance.
To rock up to work. And I wore a Stitch backpack.
You know, and that's Japan. Because Japan, you can wear anything and no one bats an eye.
Do you remember the girls would not go out without bob wigs on?
Yeah, colored, right? Like neon colored bob wigs, just because they could.
Like, that was the look. I still think they do that.
Oh, yeah, because you can't do that in the States. Or you can't, you can, but people look at you funny. It must be like a bachelorette party, but these girls are just going out just to have fun.
And we all lived in a place called E-Village, and it's like 3 apartment blocks that are all just next to each other, but it's all... like, it's security gated,
right?
And so, but we just live next to each other. It's only the foreign performers that live there that were working at the resort, and so, I mean, every night there was tons of people to, like, go out with or do things with, and so the girls, I mean, I would get together with the girls before we would go out and just get fully dressed up, paint our nails, do makeup. I had all this dollar store makeup. I remember we went out one night and Zoe was like, "Oh, can you do my makeup?" And I was, "Sure, why not?" She goes, "I want black swan eyes." And I did the full black swan makeup on her eyes just to go out. I had blue glitter nails on. Like, it was nuts. The whole thing felt like a big summer camp party for 9 months. And
just because you can.
Just because you can. And I used to ride my bike everywhere. That's something that's super wild, is that transport there is so reliable and so accessible.
On time, always.
That, like... it's just interesting now, and I think that was one of the other things I brought up. What would I trade out, for lifestyles I'd lived before that I live now? I would trade out having to be in the car here. I don't necessarily love having to drive everywhere and be in the car all the time. And this is coming from a year where I didn't really go anywhere.
Well, and we live in Orange County, California, so, it is where, part of, LA, where everything, you need a car.
You can't get anywhere here without a car. I don't know what people do without a car.
You can, it just takes significantly longer.
Yeah, but even with a car, it takes significantly long.
No matter what, it's just long.
Yeah, I think that was one of the differences as well. But again, we were just told to think of it as different, so I do. But I think because my expectation was that nothing was bad, I never perceived it that way.
You just had really, really, really soft jeans.
I just had really soft clothes. I even went to the store once and I was trying to pick up groceries, but I never fully shopped. One of the weirdest things as well is that if you're a single person, it was actually cheaper to buy your meals kind of individually or day of. And especially the cafeterias at work sold incredibly affordable meals,
like for 500 yen,
for like
if that
$3.
Yeah,
for like $3 for a full set, you could get your salad, your soup, your miso soup, your rice,
and your protein,
or an egg. I would usually add an egg or an American dog.
Yeah,
what do you call them?
Hot dogs?
No, corn dogs.
Oh, corn dogs. Yes.
Yeah, we call them Pluto pups, but which is so weird when you think about it. So I would add one of those just to be fancy. But yeah, so you could get that for $3, whereas if you went to go to the store and get everything, you would end up buying so much.
Yeah.
And they didn't have the same preservatives they would have in fruit and veg, so they would go off pretty quickly, and meat was super expensive.
Yeah.
It was the cheapest to get meat by going to McDonald's.
Yeah, or just get something that was already cooked.
Or, just get something that there was already
I remember one time I tried to make chicken because I thought, this will be really, save me money, and I accidentally locked myself out of my apartment while I was cooking.
Was the stove on? Doesn't it turn off because of the key?
The whole thing, no.
Oh, you left the key in there?
Yes.
Oh, you are a fool, Kim.
I don't remember why. I think I was getting the vacuum, because you know how we had to, sign out for the vacuum?
Yeah. And
I think I was returning it, and I was, carrying the vacuum out of my room, and I forgot to take my key, which the key... we have to have the key in a slot, which helps run the electricity.
If you take the key out of the slot, there's no electricity.
Right. But I left it in because I was like, I'll be right back. No problem. And...
Fully locked out.
I mean, that door slammed. Stove on with chicken. I panicked and I ran down to, the person who lives there, who kind of oversees us. And he was on break. Typically he's working, totally on break, and I had to go knock on his apartment, and he'd answer the door. He looked like he had been taking a nap, and he just looked so angry at me. I was like, I am so sorry. Can I get my spare key? Because I locked myself out, and I'm cooking. He's like, you're cooking? And I was like, I am. He's like, is this the stove on, the oven on? I was like, everything is on. And we like ran up to my room, and everything ended up being fine. It, like the pan was a little charred. The chicken ended up being totally fine. Like, but anyway, I don't know why were we talking about this.
I don't know.
Oh, long story short, from then on, I never cooked again. I just bought my meat. I just bought it already cooked.
Yeah, no, I just bought everything. If there wasn't a meal that I didn't eat at the 7-Eleven, I don't know what it was.
Truly, always karaage chicken from 7-Eleven.
Yeah, just something, a chuhai and a rice bowl. Like,
and an onigiri.
Yeah.
Yep.
I really, really had a good time with that. I don't know if I have any other story. Well, there was one girl, speaking of leaving keys in the door, and this was like super weird because honestly, the only reason she would have done this was to keep the air conditioning going, but she was at work, so I don't know why. She just wouldn't shut her door or like lock her door.
At all?
It was just always, you put the latch on?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, she'd go to work.
Leave it with the latch on.
Leave with the latch on, the key in there, all of her stuff's in there. And she'd just have the air conditioning going and like just leave her apartment as it was, which I thought was the weirdest thing.
Why?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I mean, Japan is super duper
I never
safe.
really asked her. I remember I'd lent her something and I said, when can I come and pick up the thing? And she was like, oh, my door's open. And I was like, well, you're at work. And she goes, yeah, you can go in. Like, I just leave it open. And she always left it open. I used to go by it. Every time I'd walk by her thing, it was just open.
Even in the middle of the night.
Literally forever. I don't think she ever shut her door.
Even to go to bed?
She was Australian too. She knows who she is.
Right.
No, she's fun. But I don't. Maybe she did at night sometimes, but I didn't go stalk her.
But then
at
again,
midnight.
well, first of all, Japan is already super duper safe.
It's super safe, and we were already in a closed community.
Yeah, with security guards and people who
Yeah.
would make sure that who was coming in.
The only thing that could have happened was someone in your cast came and did something. Like if someone had taken something, it would have been one of a handful of people.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she did that.
That's interesting.
I
Good for her. Brave.
What was the weirdest thing you bought there
that I bought?
that you shouldn't have bought because
the bean paste ice cream thing that I got.
Oh yeah. Well, I bought a printer, and I remember everyone thinking I was so stupid for buying a printer.
I didn't buy anything. People were buying speakers. These like really fancy speakers from what is it, D2? Mm-hmm. And
D2? No, isn't D2 the home
no.
improvement?
Oh yeah,
K's?
no, K's. That's it. Yeah, sorry. That people were buying speakers from K's because like I really need to listen to my music when I'm home from work, and it was just like I remember finding some. So there was a thing called the dozo pile, which dozo in Japanese means like please have or go before me, right?
Yeah, like kind of here you go.
Yeah, here you go. So there's a thing called the dozo pile, which, for lack of better terms, was kind of like wasn't really everybody's trash, but it was whatever people didn't want to take home with them. So sometimes there was clothes, tables, whatever,
like a donation.
A donation pile. And I remember I found some rickety looking speakers in the dozo pile. I was like, that should work. They were incredible. They were great. They were perfect. And I didn't want to spend my money on anything because I knew I wasn't going to be there for that long. I mean, I did think about it. I was like, well, maybe I should get really good speakers so I can be like everybody else. But I'm glad I did.
We had 9-month contracts, but after us, they started longer contracts, and they were 14 months, which I wanted. I wanted to do a 14-month one. But so what I'm saying is, like, did you buy anything that was just a ridiculous temporary purchase?
No,
because a printer is pretty stupid.
Right, but I mean, like, if I was there for 14 months, I probably would have invested maybe something. Some people like really invested in the room, right? They bought a bunch of extra like curtains.
I bought extra mirrors.
Yeah, but some people like bought extra
say about me?
furniture and curtains and things for the walls, and they would completely redo the room, which was really great and really cool. But I was like, I'm only going to be here for a short amount of time.
I saw a chick on YouTube. She was documenting her experience there, and I was just watching it for nostalgia's sake. I don't know the girl, but she had bought like adhesive tiles for the backsplash
on her
of the kitchenette, which is so weird because if you know, it's this tiniest little kitchen, like, but I guess people are now just fully renovating the whole thing, and it's just the stickers you get from the dollar store.
That's funny,
but it's a spongy tile.
I mean, good for her. I get it. If you're there for a long time,
you're there for a while. Anyway, those are our stories.
Yeah,
there's my stream of consciousness.
That was fun.
And our stream of consciousness.
Right, just kind of came out.
Hope you enjoyed hanging out with us today. We'll be back. Well, I'll be back again soon. Don't know when Steve will be back, but I'm sure you'll be catching him in Virtual Voyage if you're with us for that experience.
Come join us.
It'll be going on at this point.
Correct. I love it.
See you later.
Bye.